Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. We are still going strong for Follow a Sketch February and 100 Sketchy videos. So this is today's sketch. It's got a bunch of smaller squares. I'm not going to put my photos into that small of squares. I don't have anything right now that will work with that, so I'm going to change it around a little bit. I am going to be scrapbooking this photo of Lana and I on the airplane heading back home from Disney. You can see her ears. I'm using Paige Evans' Go the Scenic Route collection, and this side I'm not crazy about, but I do like this side kind of as a nice neutral background, and I'm going to be pulling out my Truly Grateful and Go the Scenic Route pattern swatches. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys, so I do go a little bit rogue on this sketch. Like I said, I am not making my squares the 2 1/4 by 2 that they are sized in the sketch. I am using the 2 by 2 squares from the Paige Evans collections, and I ultimately end up having 5 across instead of 4. I just felt like the 5 across was a lot better, in the fact that there wouldn't be a lot of background paper showing. Now, this background paper kind of stresses me out a little bit because I lined it up to my grid mat and it doesn't match up. So the grid on the paper is not true. And that, like I said, that stresses me out. I'm trying to line it up and it just doesn't line up perfectly. So when I eventually pick all of the squares and what I am thinking, you know, that's a whole moment where I'm just like, what in the world? Now, my original thought was to pop some of these squares up upon each other and kind of have little bits that were tucked out and tucked in, and them to be not so grid. I was thinking about having them as kind of wonky and just kind of all over the place. Because in the sketch, they're not exactly squared up, are they? They're a little bit around. They're a little bit around. But I decided that I really did need to have 5 squares across the page instead of 4. I didn't want as much of that background paper showing if there was only going to be 4 squares across the page. So I'm going through and I'm just trying to find, I don't know why I was counting them there, but I'm just trying to find ones that will work. And I also wanted to make sure that I didn't have duplicates. So I wanted every single square to be its own little bit. Like, I didn't want you to look at this and be like, oh, you've got 2 of those on there. That's great. Like, I didn't want that to happen. If you don't mind the repetitiveness, then, then go for it. This is me trying to line up my paper to the grid mat, and it doesn't line up perfectly. So instead of using my background paper to square up my photos, I'm actually using the grid mat, which is crazy because, it's supposed to be a grid mat and it doesn't line up. I'm still stressing about it, you guys. Like, it's still giving me stress. So I am going to line these bad boys up, and I'm kind of leaving this entire process in because a lot of it is me making decisions of how I want the squares to go. So I put in the squares in at 1/4 of an inch on each side, and then I went to the center of the paper, which is 6 inches, and then I centered the photo. That's not a photo. Then I centered the square little piece of paper down on that, and then I just split the difference between the two, the one in the center and the one on the edge. So that's about as scientific as we got. Now, I am going to realize very quickly that I did not have enough squares to do what I had thought I wanted to do. And that's okay. I decided to go a little bit of a different route. I wanted to make sure that Let's Go on an Adventure was kind of in your face. I knew that I was going to be putting my photo over in, kind of towards the bottom right-hand side. So I figured Let's Go on an Adventure should kind of be up at the top, because what that was going to do was be able to see those words. And I've decided to put a good amount of words on the page here. So I have all of these words on the left-hand side of the page, and then I have this heart that says smile on the right. And, the original plan was to have the photo in between those two ones. And now I'm just going to take a couple of these extra squares that I have and kind of offset them a little bit. And then I have this pre-cut cut file that was chilling out on my desk. This was in one of the Scrapping Reflections releases. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do something here. Now, I thought I was going to pop this bad boy up on foam and have it lift it off of the squares. And then I thought, you know what? Let's not do that. But let's switch this around so that Let's Go on an Adventure. You can see the entire thing instead of just a portion of it where it's covered up by the heart. Now, I do end up covering up the smile word, and you can kind of see the letters through it, but I don't even notice it until I am just about completely finished with the page. So it's just going to stay that way. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not switching out any of the squares here. It's just is what it is. So I do pop my photo up on some fun foam, and I'm going to cover up a good portion of this heart. But this is where I was originally thinking about having the photo to begin with. So I just added the heart as a decoration behind it. Now I do go into my floral die cuts, and I'm just trying to figure out where I can put some more florals, because I want a little bit of texture and dimension on this page now. My photo is popped up, but there isn't a lot of dimension besides that. So I'm going to pop up some flowers and just kind of put them around on the page. I actually make kind of a diagonal line with the flowers, and they're going to be on the heart and also around my photos. And I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to make that happen, so I'm kind of, testing out the flowers to see where they're going to go. This little pinky purpley flower is going to be flat down on the page. And then I find this one, which I think is a great color combination for everything I have going on. So I'm going to put that one over top of the photo, and then I am going to eventually put that floral up there on the edge of the heart as well. So I do go ahead and pop these florals up on foam squares, and that's, fulfilling my little need for texture and dimension. So for this flower, instead of popping it up in the center, I'm going to put ATG tape in the center and pop up the flower petals around the edge. And that is going to give it a little bit of a different bit of texture. So there we go. Now, and I'm loving it, you guys. Like, I just love it. I am flipping through my florals just to see if I need to add anything anywhere. And ultimately, I decide that I do not. I have plenty of flowers going on here, but I need something else. I need a little bit of something else. I know I need a title, and then I've decided that I need a little bit of decoration. So I tried these wood veneer and gold foiled stickers, and it just didn't work. It didn't feel right. It felt like it was too harsh. I thought I could bring in this plain sticker, but it was very cream based and everything on here is white and it just felt awkward to me. Sometimes I don't mind mixing cream and white. They're just colors, but for this one it just felt off. It just felt just wrong, and you know, you can't put stuff on your pages when it feels wrong. So I pull out these Vicki Boutin thickers, and this is the second time I have used these thickers. I've completely obliterated a package, and I decided to put in this pink Say cheese. So I get that down there, and I'm just adjusting this a little bit so that the A nestles really well between the S and the Y. And then I decide to use some of the hearts around the page as well. So I pop this little yellow guy up, and then I'm going to pull out a couple little more. And then I decide, you know what? I need more hearts. I've got plenty of flowers all over the place. I got a little bit of hearts going on my squares, so I might as well just embrace it. Now I pull out a couple more hearts. These little guys that I am getting ready to show you came from Michael's. I've had them in my stash for a while now. There is a heck of a lot of these hearts on the background. Oh, I guess I pulled out some other hearts before I pulled out the ones I was thinking of. So these are just some puffy hearts, and these little floral guys are from Chamel. I can't tell you which collection because I don't remember. It might be Head in the Clouds. I think it's probably Head in the Clouds because of that floral. Now these are those little hearts that I was talking about that had a ton on the page, and I got them from Michael's. I'm going to sprinkle around these purple ones, and I'm putting some of these guys on the word squares that I used, and I'm just kind of adding in the little hearts so that there's little pops of these deep colors throughout the layout. So there it is, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for Follow a Sketch February and on to 100 Sketchy videos. If you want to play along, go ahead and join that Scrapping Reflections Facebook group where we have all of the sketches so that you can join in. I will see you guys again real soon for another video.